to another very juicy and this time a bit of a different stream. I have prepared a few slides and we're gonna go through these slides and we're gonna learn something. We're gonna talk about karma and my theory of why karma is actually really practical, and it is not something that is too woo-woo and too kind of just out of thin air. But I would actually really argue that it does work and that it is useful, and it is also quite important to think about and always keep in mind as maybe sometimes even a driver, sometimes that, sometimes something that can give you a bit of a push, to do something that you would have not done otherwise, basically kind of forcing yourself to do certain things. Let me quickly see if this is working like I'd like it to. Well, this would be actually kind of amazing. Let me see. Let me see if it does. And I think it actually really does. Surprising as it is. Nope, that's the wrong one. Where is it? Or does it actually work? It would actually be kind of a bummer if it didn't. Well, you can actually also see the slides. It doesn't matter too much, to really be honest. For whatever reason, I do not see it. Oh my god. But why doesn't it? That's the whole thing, Why doesn't it work the way I'd like it to work? Well, actually, I see a lot of things, There it is. There we go. So what if I go to present? No, not in that way. Present the view, and then close this, and then go to the very first one, and now everything works really nicely. Let's actually have it like this. So karma and why karma is actually very practical. A bit of a presentation, a very small one, Nothing too extraordinary. It is actually also relatively late, and it is a bit of pity for me to record that late. I haven't been eating too well today. Basically just way too less, and I actually also have to edit an episode and upload an episode, and I still have to do all those things. But I wanted to really start, as you can also see with the whole layout that changed, to make the stream and also the YouTube videos and therefore also podcast something that I am a bit more proud of, and something that I actually also want to show to people. I can say, well, this is something that I did, this is something that I made, I created. Anyway, let us see. If you help somebody, which, basically is part of karma, like trying to do something for somebody, trying to be a good person, trying to just be a bit nicer than you usually are, trying to help somebody out, The good thing about helping somebody out, and this is where quote-unquote karma plays into the whole game, karma being something that, to some degree I would argue is just common sense, something that just really makes sense to work. Because in the end, the possibility is going to be higher that that person is going to help you back, just because you help this person. In the end, it is all about chances and probabilities, and you yourself maximizing it. As you can see, the yellow is before, and with the blue is afterwards, after you've done something good, after a series of good actions, a series of, good deeds, quite. It just makes sense. It just makes sense that when you're doing something nice, when you're helping somebody out, that this person is going to give you eventually something back. Maybe. Doesn't necessarily have to be the case, I don't want to say that this is going to be 100% the case, I don't want to say that, because this is not going to be the case. It is not going to be the case that anybody is going to feel like feeling like the need to give something back. It doesn't necessarily have to be the case. Of course, once again, you are increasing the probabilities of this being the case by being a certain person, by doing certain things. Which just also, once again, makes sense. If you're helping somebody, well, I do myself feel like, okay, I also want to give back, At some point, I want to give back. Obviously, it really depends on what it is. If it is something really minor, something very insignificant, well, I may not feel like giving back, I may not feel like, okay, I want to, basically pay this person back, I may not actually feel this way when it is something really minor, something that I, wouldn't consider too much work, But of course, from time to time, we do really big things, things that help people a lot, things that really do make somebody's day and can help somebody out really, really, really a lot. By just, going out of our way, by just thinking about the fact that, well, maybe we can increase our possibilities and probabilities that life is just going to be a bit easier on us in the next years or next weeks or next days or whatnot. And, I wouldn't focus on, okay, I'm just going to get something back from this person. I would rather focus on, okay, I'm just willing to do something good. And I know that, maybe in the end, this is also going to help me someday. I wouldn't necessarily focus on getting something back. I would say that it is the exact same thing with expectations in general. If you really have high expectations and, they're not going to be met, well, you're going to be disappointed, and therefore I would just really argue that it makes sense to think about doing something good with keeping in mind that there is a probability and possibility that you're going to get something back for that thing. But by not expecting it, just thinking, well, okay, I could get something back, I could achieve something, I could whatever, Another point is we just really like to be social, we are the social animal. There's actually also a book, I think, that I've actually also gone through that one on the podcast / the YouTube channel. But in the end, we like to be social. We like to interact with people, we like to talk to people, we like to, find somebody that is, similar to us. It is just also good for us, just giving back to the people, helping them, being part of the social system, being part of just the thing that we, to some degree as well, were created for. We were not created for just being alone all the time. We were indeed, at least at my point of view, created for being in groups and being with other people and socializing and all of these things. Possibly, and quite frankly, one of the reasons why it is so important also for your health to socialize and to be with people and to meet people and to talk to people, because this is basically what we were designed for, partly, of course not fully. We could talk about biology here and evolution and whatnot, but I'm not going to do so. So in the end, it is also basically going to help you feel better about yourself and feel better about your life and feel better about what you do, Of course, we like being nice, and sometimes we even love being nice. And in the end, it makes things also easier for us and better for us, First of all, we increasing the possibility that something good is going to happen, while also just feeling better about ourselves, while also just, feeling better about what we do every day, and maybe also feel more fulfilled with what we do. A lot of, very successful and also very wealthy people talk about the fact that something that is really important for them is indeed helping other people, because this is something pretty crucial in terms of fulfilling them, and having a sense of fulfillment and having a sense of, okay, well, I still have something to do here, maybe. Because of course, if you have enough money, if you have quite everything that that you were able to dream of as a child or before you've come into this position, then, well, what should you do then? Of course, there are a ton of things left, and as you can see, in terms of all those not federations, but all those organizations that were created by pretty wealthy people, charity organizations, a pretty big part of just trying to be fulfilled and trying to just live a happy life in the real end, if you already have everything, is just giving back to the people, and just also trying to make their life a bit better, because your life is already as good as it can be, quite. Therefore also just charity and donating whatnot also feels good, because we know that we are doing something good, we are doing something that is worthwhile, and maybe as well creating an impact on this planet. Not just being there to be there, but being there for a purpose, and being there, basically then also leaving this planet with maybe even being in the mind of a lot of people, because you helped them, because you were a certain person. This is actually something that to some degree really has driven me in the past, and I guess is going to drive me in the future as well, trying to be a certain person. And this certain person is probably, and well, not probably, but 100% gonna not be a bad person. I do want to be remembered as a good person. Of course, I can just only influence that to some degree, by being somebody, actually being somebody very certain. Of course, this is nothing that I am fully in control of, I can't make anyone feel and think about me in a certain way, but once again, I'm increasing the probabilities of this being the case by being a nicer person, by trying to be a better person, by trying to think about my karma, and maybe just not throwing that thing on the ground, that trash on the ground, because I know somebody has to pick it up, and I know that this is probably not going to be nice for this person. I don't want this other person that has to pick up my trash, because it is their job, to have more work. Then it just has to be the case, and I can control that. We do really impact society and other people by quite a lot, not only with our interactions that we're having that can serve us and hopefully also them, by just being nice, by just being honest and giving them a compliment because they really look good today, but also by just thinking a bit more and being a bit more intellectual about everyday actions and everyday things that you're doing. Okay, am I really going to do this, or is this going to impact somebody in a negative way? Often we might just not think about that fact, often we might just be, actually too present, and do not look towards the future, maybe even towards the past, and realize that indeed we impact other people's life. Consciously or unconsciously, most often probably unconsciously, but by just thinking a bit more and by just being a bit more conscious about how the world works, how things work, and just in general thinking a bit more, one I guess realizes that we indeed can make somebody's day a bit better by just, probably having a tiny little bit more work. Okay, I'm not gonna throw this trash on the ground. I'm gonna walk 10 meters to this trash bin so that I can just get rid of my trash, because I know that the person that has to pick it up does not want more work. I also myself do not want more work. On the other hand, when I'm working with somebody, okay, I do want to have nice interactions with them. I don't want to talk to somebody that is very just, an asshole, or somebody that is just not very empathetic, thinking about everyday actions that we do and everyday interactions to increase the possibility of us being happier, and basically the probability of us being happier, and also the other people around us being happier. And I would argue that when you are happier, the people around you are also going to be happier, because you are more fulfilled and you feel more like, maybe also going the extra mile to do the things that are necessary to do for you in your life, but also having more energy to make your close friends and your family members' life easier, because you are there, because you can help them, because you have the energy to help them and be with them in hard times and tough times, because you initially thought about living a happier and better life and being content with who you are quite in the end. So yeah, think about the actions that you take, think about the things that you do, because karma is practical. And with that being said, I'm going to see you next time. Bye bye.